Welcome back, adventurers, to Let's Play Riven, the sequel to Myst. When last we left off, we'd managed to break into Gehn's study on the Boiler Island, and had a look through his journal. In it we learned quite a few things, most notably about the Starfisher, the technology that Gehn has developed from Dunny civilization, and the fact that he has created, links to not one but two ages. One for himself, the other as a possible sanctuary for the Rivenese. And we have also learned of some combinations. In particular, we've learned of the numerical combination for the Marble Dome slider lock puzzle that we'll be looking into a little bit later. Now, bless me. In regards to Gehn's two new ages, the first, ending with Erd, so one can only assume that it's something third age, because Gehn is, pragmatic, and when it comes to his ages, he numbers them instead of names them. Now you notice that there were two symbols, one for 9 and one for 8, and there was also one that had two symbols for 9. Now, the Dunny numerical system is rather interesting. Remember, going back to the slider combination, that there were 25 numbers, basically. Well, what you have to do, as I've found out, is you have to multiply the first numeral by 25, and then add the second numeral to that total. So, if you multiply 9 by 25, you get 225. And if you add the second numeral, which was 8, you get 233. So, this new age is Gehn's 233rd attempt at writing an age. All the others were most likely destroyed for failing to connect to other worlds, which would make the age that Gehn is writing to relocate the islanders as his 234th age, which we have no idea what's in that age, or even if we will be possibly visiting that age, if ever. But we've finished looking at this rather long journal, and for that I entirely apologize. Although, on the left of the desk here, there's another page. 87.7.28. Last week, while monitoring the situation of the villagers from the scope in my survey room, I observed one of the natives swim out to a small object that appeared to be floating but anchored near the entrance to the bay. I ordered the object removed from the water for inspection. Several days later, however, I was surprised to see another floating there. The missing object had apparently been, and quite mysteriously, been replaced with a new one overnight. I've long been aware of the existence of similar artifacts on the village's island, but have paid them little notice until now. Tomorrow I shall send surveyors to catalogue the others. And there's a sketch of the golden eyes that we've been seeing thus far, and speaking of which, there's one here that's not socketed. But we can roll it, and engraved on the back is the symbol for 1. But there's no animal noise, so we're kind of out of luck with that one. But that's enough of this desk here. Let's move on to this desk over here with all this different apparatus and stuff. Various instruments here and there, scissors and other instruments. bottles of some kind. I'm pretty sure that must be cork. And there's another yttrium trap with something in it. Appears to be a chest of drawers here. Top one appears to have a bunch of eggs in it. Don't know why, but doesn't seem we can open any of the others. Over there is some kind of globe or something, so if we can interact with it, we pull that out. Appears to be heating the water, and the water appears to be moving away at an alarming rate, doing stuff that water doesn't normally do. Gehn theorized there was some kind of bacteria in the water that, you know, had an aversion to heat. But as you could tell, you know, it stayed at the top of the globe before the fire went out. But that explains the water tunnels on the jungle island and the minecart to the boiler island. The various rings of heat that created a kind of watery tunnel of sorts, you know. There should be something over here. It appears to be apparatus for making books, linking books or descriptive books. Can't tell. Appears to be something that creates the spine of the books. And the Wood of Riven once again appears to have that motif of 5. Whether that was deliberately written in there by Gehn or not, we don't know. There's a vice here that compresses the books, apparently, into a nice compressed shape. We've had a look at that. And I think that's pretty much everything except for the middle of the room. There's what appears to be a boiler or furnace in the middle of the room here that we can open and have a look inside. There appears to be a book in there. A rather charred, burned looking book. I'm suddenly having flashbacks to the library on Myst, but something tells me that this isn't a journal. Yep. This may look like some weirdly, you know, splayed piece of ink, but it's no ink. It's the dead place of a descriptive image. The age itself may not have been destroyed, but the link certainly is. The pages are charred, although it might entirely be possible to still link to this world with the apparatus that Catherine developed. One that possibly powers although with this particular book I'm not certain that one would be able to reach said world anyway, given the properties of the books in question that are somewhat different to the ones that are actually in Dunny, which would explain why he's such in a hurry to try and find more blank books from Dunny. But the only other thing we have to explore in here is the other door on the other side of the study that leads out this way. Close the door behind us. And over there is the, you know, to the left is the Temple Island, and over to the right is the Jungle Island where we were before, because that is the minecart that we, you know, I think we might have had a glimpse of this structure when we came into minecart, or maybe not. But finally, well, we have this tram here that we can now go to since we called it here. And there's a rather interesting looking formation towards that island there. So if we head down to this tram and rotate it so it turns around and heads toward the other island, we are pretty much done with the boiler island for the time being, although we might be coming back. But onwards to the fourth island of Riven. And away we go. The musical engines. Not quite as dramatic as the one from the Temple Island, but still pretty interesting. There's a door over there. And a chamber over here. I'm going to explore this stairs first. Have a look around. Appears to be nothing at the moment, but there appears to be a crystalline mass up ahead. It's very beautiful. There appears to be algae around. Some sort of... I'm guessing these are more tusks from the made from the culled fish. I don't imagine that there are too many fish there at the moment, but these rock formations are quite beautiful. And there appears to be something... I just hit it. There appears to be something down there. Really, really interesting. It's a very beautiful rock formation, even more so than the one on Selenitic. Some more rock formations that are quite different, with various pools of water. Appears to be an elevator of some kind, with a button that we can press to ascend to a higher platform. Now we have a full view of this island on the top here. Ah! And it appears to be a topography of the entirety of Riven in its current state. So well, I'm guessing that this island must be the island of the Surveyors Guild, or the Survey Island. We'll press the one for the Temple Island and see what happens. Appears to be water rising from those gaps, and obviously something is being heated below there for the water to do that. So these are the 4 islands that we've explored thus far. We've got the Temple Island, the Jungle Island, the Boiler Island, and we're currently on the Survey Island. But there's still one island that we have yet to explore, which is that one, which we'll get to there when we get to it, I guess. Put pushing the button for the jungle island lowers the water for the temple island, which probably creates some kind of... I think it's creating a simulacrum of the surface of each island. I'm not certain. It's hard to tell with the way this water is, but You know what? I think I'll go back to the Temple Island. It's certainly beautiful, and it's nice that we have a full idea of the locations of Riven at the moment. But it's rather interesting that these 5 islands used to originally be one before the destabilization of the age caused it to fracture into 5 pieces. You know, symbolism or otherwise, I don't know. But doesn't appear to be anything else we can do here. But some sort of structure over here. It's a platform leading 2 sides. Here's another one of those fire marble domes. Now I'm surmising... Oh, there's I'm lucky that didn't hit me or anything. There's a blade of yet another one of those giant daggers that's... Let me have a closer look. I did not notice that before. I did not notice the handle of the giant dagger that was sticking there before, but as I was going to say before that rather abrupt discovery, is there's the viewing point for the dome. There's that dagger again. It's very ominous. And it appears to be dunny symbols made entirely out of metal this time. Some sort of lantern thing in here. And this appears to be some sort of apparatus. It appears to it kind of resembles what is it called? You press your hand in and it makes an impression. It's kind of like that. Appears to be showing various parts of the island. See, we've got one half of the dome, and we can apparently rotate it. So that's one half of the dome, and that's the other half of the dome. Must be... Yeah, that's the dome. And that appears to be a platform where appears to be a depiction of the fire marble dome on the Temple Island. It's probably I think this is probably where we are at where we arrived at the moment. This is pretty much where we started. I think we probably went up there and go along this way. So that's the topography of the Temple Island. See what happens when we, if we reset this back to its original configuration. And see what happens. We turn around and we can't go this way because the bridge is gone. Guess it only works when you have one of the islands selected on this mechanism thing. Again, it goes, you know, the amount of time that it would have taken to physically construct all this apparatus in 33 years is nothing short of an achievement. We've got the jungle island now, and there are definitely a lot of areas to cover on Jungle Island. Appears to be the platform, the raised area of Jungle Island. Appears to be the crater where the villagers are currently stationed at the moment. Yeah, I'm guessing that this is, yeah, it's a interesting simulacrum, the various islands of Riven. Leave that down for the time being. We'll reset it because we have pretty much been exploring the surfaces of, the various areas of Riven so far at this point. So let's return now to the platform. Push this button here to return to the previous level. Again, the ingenuity in developing all this is just spectacular. So we're done with this part of the island at the moment, and while it'd be nice to stay and gaze at these stone monoliths, it's probably not, as we still have stuff to do. We still have the rest of the island to explore. We have to go through that door.